While on the lookout for games that I thought would be well worth my time, I came across Garfield, caught in the act. Though no longer a fan of the Garfield franchise, I decided to try it out, hoping that I'd find lots of great video game entertainment. Unfortunately, what I came across was a game so atrocious that I began to wonder if attempted suicide deserved to be against the law. The game starts out with a story that makes the one in Global Gladiators look like Academy Gold. Garfield and Odie accidentally break the television, and worried that John might put them to sleep, they decide to fix it. After they, fix it, Garfield gets rid of the spare parts, which morph together to form the Y2K bug, who zaps the orange heart attack to be into the television. Seriously, what kind of pot were the developers smoking when they came up with this story? Actually, now that I think about it, it kind of reminds me of a Garfield episode where he does get trapped in the TV. Whatever, let's just get this review started. Before we begin the game, we have this screen that shows us all the information that we could have figured out anyway. I say the only information that is worth gaining from the screen is what the food does. The pizza and hamburger give you health, while you get invincibility from the coffee. Wait, time out! Coffee gives us invincibility? Who thought this up? Couldn't we have something else give us invincibility? Say, I don't know, lasagna? We are playing a Garfield game, aren't we? So why isn't lasagna one of the foods we can eat? At the very least, it makes a hell of a lot more sense than a cup of mud. Never mind. Let's just get on with the game. The first level takes place in a graveyard, and you can already guess by the name of the level that we are on a quest to slay a vampire. My first impression of the game was that the graphics were incredibly good, and the music is excellent. Well, until it begins looping in the later levels and gradually becomes grating. Believe it or not, those are the only positive things I can say about this game, as it all goes downhill after pressing the direction pad. When you try to move Garfield, he walks slower than a pothead with Down syndrome, and to make matters worse, he doesn't accelerate between speeds, meaning you have only two different velocities to choose from, slower than hell and stop. And the speed is really going to come to bite you in the ass when facing enemies that can attack from a distance, since you can't move fast enough to avoid their attacks. This means that the only way to protect yourself from projectiles is to either jump over them, which is broken to some degree, or throwing something to block it, which is difficult to do. Of course, you also have your melee attack, but the attack range is only a few inches away from you, and the hit detection is piss poor. Not to mention that it takes him about a quarter of a second for him to swing his melee weapon in front of him. So you have to time your attacks just right, or else you'll either miss the enemy or you'll take a hit. Now that you know that your controls are broken beyond belief, there's only one way to make it through these levels, and that's using your high health meter to take lots of damage and try to progress to the next area before you die. And trust me, you'll be relying on this tactic a lot. Well, I made it to the first boss, and now we must fight the demon of the night. The terror that lurks in the... What the hell is that? Is that Odie flying? This is our first boss for the first level? Whatever, let's just get this over with. This boss fight is bullshit. Why, you may ask? Simple. The fighting mechanics in this game suck harder than a prostitute trainee, which I've already explained, but you have no idea how bad they are until you get to this boss. And it's not so much the boss, but the fucking bats he releases to rape you. Hitting these bats take perfect timing, and if you're off by even a quarter of a second, you'll get hit left and right. And it doesn't help matters that these bats will take one cheap shot after another, either staying as far away from you as possible, or ganging up on you in an instant. Well, shit. I died. No worries, though. After all, this is the first boss. I'm confident I'll beat him in no time. No! God damn it, not again! What the fuck? What am I doing wrong? I threw all my projectiles at him that time. He should have at least moved to the next dresser. What do I have to do to kill? What the hell? You mean to tell me that I have to get him into his dresser and then jump at the curtains above him? Who the fuck thought this would be a good idea? I didn't even see those curtains till I grabbed one of them by accident. And let's not forget that we moved through the graveyard during the night. So how are we supposed to know that it's daybreak in the next scene? The logic in this boss fight is messed up on all levels. Finally, I beat him. And it only took half my life. At least now I can continue on to the next level. But first, the unnecessary and out-of-place bonus game that was only put in the game to encourage replay value and failed miserably. Hooray! What's this? A pirate level? Alright, this might be pretty cool. What the hell? Why am I beginning this level in a rowboat without oars? Is this supposed to be a good sign? Before I continue any further, I'd like to direct everyone's attention to the number of projectiles I get whenever I begin a level. This will become important later in the review. Now, back to where I left off. The first part of this level is bullshit to the highest degree. Besides enemies that can hit you with ease if you're not careful, this boat will run you into areas where you have no chance in hell of avoiding damage. And these claw-like branches will piss you the hell off because it's almost impossible to avoid them, regardless of whether or not they are above your head, thanks to the fucking rowboat. And please be careful whenever you're forced to move on your little dinghy, since you'll take damage whenever you get in ankle-deep water. Who thought this boat section of the game was a good idea? What the? Did I just take damage from a tadpole? Alright, a generic enemy. Let's use one of our bombs against him, and you know what happens whenever bombs are used in video games. Die, skeleton! Oh, you've got to be kidding me. There was no explosion when the bomb hit. How can this game give us bombs and not have them explode when they hit something? The game developers may as well have given us rocks to throw at them. At least that would have been better than giving us bombs that can't explode. Well, we survived the rowboat of death and can now travel by land. What the hell is that supposed to be? That looks like a chicken mixed with a retarded triceratops. And why the hell is that thing on this island? Unless we landed on Jurassic Park, this abomination to evolution should not be here. Well, I can now move on to the next area. Before we do that, however, please take notice how many projectiles I have. Well, here we go. Now what the hell happened to all my bombs? Oh no, please don't say I lost them all after moving on to this next part of the level. That's just great. No, we don't want you to keep all the bombs and conserve them for when you really need them. Let's reset all the initial projectiles whenever you touch a remote. That's brilliant! Can the developer who thought this up please stand up so you can be shocked? Now we've reached the ever-fun platforming section of the game, and with the fluid and responsive controls that this game provides, there is absolutely no problem with this part. But how do we get to the branches that we must jump on? After all, they are too high up for us to jump onto from the ground. So here is what you do. You kill the plotted fly trap and jump on his head while he's knocked out, which bounces you high enough to reach the branches. Who thinks this shit up? Damn it! Bullshit! Crap! Huzzah! I made it to a save point! Come here, you. I need the head. God damn it, I hate the jumping mechanics in this game. Die, you order from KFCBC. Ugh, fuck this. Editing powers! Activate! Alright, I finally made it past the platforming section of Anger and Rage, and oh yeah, that's cheap. And now we must continue through another section with ankle-deep water that can hurt you. Mind you, this section of the level isn't that bad, and it's actually the least bullshit part, which doesn't say much at all, because there is plenty of bullshit here. Anyway, you get past this, and now you finally make it to the boss of this level, which turns out to be nothing more than a beefed-up version of the skeletons that you fought earlier. What the hell? Couldn't the developers give us something more original? To beat this boss, all you have to do is just get as close to him as possible and spam throw your useless bombs at him. Don't bother trying to avoid the parrot he throws at you, as you'll most likely kill him before you die if you rely on this tactic. Just make sure to stay out of the water and you should be fine. Die, fool! Taste the wrath of Orangebeard's non-explosive bombs! Good, he's dead. Now we can continue on to the next level.